should they trust you to pick up the phone? That is such a trust issue. If you step back and thought about why does no one pick up the phone after I'm calling them with that web form they filled out, look back and look at what you promised them or what you told them you would do or what kind of relationship you have with them. We get this whole thing going on these days since about March 12th, right? So trying to figure out what it is maybe we were doing wrong before March 12th, because why didn't people re-engage? Why didn't people schedule telehealth? You know, why did people go away? Why am I having trouble getting a hold of people, right? This process is no different than the training courses I do, than the content I was teaching before. And one of the two things I talk about, one of the most important things about understanding your patient's life cycle, one of the two is to build trust, right? And so we're back to this trust thing, because I saw some posts this week and around maybe building trust, but around other things to do to get people scheduled. And really, to get people scheduled, is not the proper terminology, as you all know, because what we want to do is get people on the schedule who will arrive, pay, stay, and do your marketing with you, right? So getting people scheduled is the wrong mindset. Getting people scheduled does not involve building trust. I can guarantee you that. I can get people on the schedule all day long for you. And if you want to pay me to get people scheduled, I'm happy to take your money. There will be no guarantee that they will arrive, that they will pay, that they will stay, complete a plan of care, and then help you with your marketing. So you got to get out of this get scheduled mindset. And you got to get in the mindset of get them on the schedule, prepared to pay, stay, and do your marketing with you. Okay? So that's number one. And if you're thinking that way, if you're thinking, geez, how do I get them to arrive, pay, stay, and do my marketing with me? Back it up and I say, you got to build trust. And again, secret callers I do frequently. There is very little trust being built based on the things I've shared with you over the past month or so and the ways of doing that. There's very little trust built, yet they get me scheduled, which leads to the post from last week. Then, if you got me scheduled, why will I arrive? And if we're going to break down why will I arrive, then you're going to have to tell me the things you ultimately did to build trust and decrease fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Those go together, hand in hand. If you're building trust, you're decreasing fear, doubt, and uncertainty. If you're decreasing fear, doubt, and uncertainty, you're building trust. So you can't go wrong with either of those, but I like the building trust thing. It just sounds better, okay? So if we're building trust and we're in the mindset of getting people on the schedule who arrive, pay, stay, and do our marketing with us, or with you, then we have to start to go, trust. Can it just be built in one phone call? And I'm like, fuck no. Can we build some trust during a first phone call? Yeah. If we look at this journey, this phase 2 journey, right? If we look at what happens when someone calls you until they arrive, then we see there's a lot of time and energy and money to be spent on building trust that will return a huge ROI. Measured how? Increased arrival rate, decreased cancels, decreased drop-offs, increased completed plans of care by just managing trust during phase 2 of your patient's journey. Way better. If you think you're slick, you'll catch a break, y'all. That's, gotta love that. So this is really important, and we're about 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in, and that content right there, that's the context for everything. If you just roll back the first 5 minutes and write that out, then you will be looking at the structure, the template, the context for everything you have to do with your front desk, at your front desk. Trust is a journey. The first phone call is part of that journey. Phase 2 is a ginormous chunk and piece of that puzzle and segment of that journey, plain and simple. So breaking out the first phone call on its own and asking, these broad sweeping questions about the first phone call doesn't really achieve a lot. It really doesn't. How long should I be on the phone? Well, as long as it takes. As long as it takes to do what? To get someone scheduled. No, wrong answer. So if the question is, how long to be on the phone to get someone scheduled, I'm like, you only need about 2 minutes to get someone scheduled. What's trust build? Why will they arrive, right? Why will they stay? Right? The 5 questions we went through last week. I'll guarantee you, if someone breaks out a conversation about the first phone call and says how long it should take and what things should occur, if you follow up with those 5 questions, maybe 2 or 3 of them can be answered, right? But if you can answer all 5 of those questions, then you're doing what needs to be done to build trust at that moment in time in that patient's journey that will increase the likelihood of them arriving, paying, staying, and doing your marketing for you. And you must look at it as a journey, a trust journey. This patient life cycle is constantly building trust. At every single step and interaction in your patient's journey, you must build trust and you must manage and set expectations. If you do that, you will be insanely successful. It's that simple. It's that simple. Here we are, 8 minutes in. Again, it's pretty scary to think 8 minutes in, and that's about 12 years worth of work summed up right there. It really is. So that is the work that needs to be done. That is the job that needs to be done, is understanding the complete journey, understanding the interactions, understanding I need to build trust at each interaction, understanding you need to manage and set expectations at each interaction. And now, where can I leverage the fuck out of that? Because we cannot go, good morning, Meg. We cannot go back to our providers. Oh, look at, here's this trust journey, right? I love it. Here's the trust journey, right? And here's our provider right here. And we just deliver something, expect them to drive all this trust stuff and do all the work. And yet we had this huge component before they arrived, phase 2 of your patient's life cycle. So what you want on this trust journey is a trajectory of trust being built like this, right? And you and I both know the more trust you build, sooner, the more you can afford to lose some along the way. And I've done these talks before. Wouldn't you rather have a huge stockpile of credit, trust built, so that if something happens, you fuck up a visit, they get a surprise bill, something like that happens, you don't lose them. When trust is at this level and they haven't arrived yet, and something bad happens, they're gone. Or if they just get to the PT, the provider, anyone, and they're starting to build the trust, and on visit 2, they're surprised about some insurance information they hear, trust drops and they're gone. That's a drop off. But if you've been on this trajectory and they get to the provider and it keeps going, and then visit 2, they get a surprise bill, it drops down some, but they're not going to drop off on you. This is the way you got to think of this. This is the way you've got to think of this approach, man. And we've got to connect the front desk with the providers, with the billing team, have it all come together and go, okay, what do we need to do? Remember, throughout the entire journey, you have to build trust and you have to manage and set expectations. So instead of training your billing team how to manage pissed off customers 6 months later, train them how to get benefits properly. Train them how to get costs for people. Understand the language you need to do on a financial policy. Understand the language you need to give out on the first phone call when you give them their price. When you give them your contracted rate, your non-contracted rate, right? Figure out the language, all that. The work done there will save your ass when the insurance fucks something up, when your team fucks something up, when you fuck something up. It's this world of marginal gains. We've got to build trust. I say this over and over. I probably have stated this more than anything. You know, things like on the first phone call saying, can I get your email because I'm going to send you these 2 emails. Email number 1 is going to contain A, B, and C, and you will get that by 5 o'clock today or after 5 o'clock today. And then you deliver it at 3:30. You promised an email with 3 things and you delivered it early. Those are marginal gains. You're building trust. Exactly what was in there is what you told them. You asked them for their email so you could do something in return for them. Then you told them they'd get a video of their provider 48 hours later. Magically, there it shows up. And trust is building, building, building. It's a world of marginal gains. Trust is built in increments. Trust must be earned. Trust must be earned. Must be given to us, right? Man, it's a world of marginal gains building trust, but you and I both know in this world it's not difficult to lose it in a snap. You need to build up the trust credits. You need to build the trust as soon as you know that these people are in contact with your brand and your business. So if someone is submitting a web form and you've asked them for all kinds of information and you've given them no reason to pick up the phone, why should they trust you to pick up the phone? That is such a trust issue. If you step back and thought about why does no one pick up the phone after I'm calling them with that web form they filled out, look back and look at what you promised them or what you told them you would do or what kind of relationship you have with them. And then think about you dating, meeting someone you didn't know, someone wanting to give you give me your phone number so I can call you. You're like, I don't even fucking know you. Even though you're promising something, it doesn't matter. Earn that trust and then ask for a phone number. That solves itself pretty quick, right? A lot of the strategies to call people back who fill out web forms quickly or to not say who you are and things like that, those aren't trust building. That's get people scheduled mentality. So I promised you that I would tell you what we need to do on the phone today to get someone to believe in you and then to believe in themselves. And this is perfect. This is part of a trust journey. This is not the trust journey, but this must be done. And the earlier it's done, the more likely they will arrive, pay, stay, and do your marketing with you. A person, so there's a lot of work. If this is when they meet the provider, right? First phone call to meeting provider. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in this time to keep building that trust. And one of the things you must do is get the person to believe in you, number one. And then the second part of this is really interesting because we talk about selling value, giving value. But what does that mean? It's so funny, everybody's like, well, we got to give more value. And I'm like, what's that mean? And there's a lot of dead air because people get stuck on giving the value, the things we value. We want to give things we think they should value. Yet, if we back it up one and we get their story, we know everything they need and want from us and therefore what they will value from us. During this first phone call, when you're getting the story, you must leverage this, getting them to believe in you and getting them to believe in themselves within what we have to offer them. And this is awesome. This is social proof and individual proof. You guys have heard this a lot. Social proof can be done very well with testimonials, right? So this is why you put testimonials on your website and everywhere. So people start to go, they've helped a lot of people, like me. But remember, you're not done there. Most people quit there. Hey, Michael. Most people quit there. Well, I have all these testimonials so people know it's right for them. I'm like, that doesn't tell them it's right for them. That tells them you've been right for a lot of people like them. I get it. So again, we got these marginal gains. Wow, they've helped a lot of people with back pain from CrossFit. But can they help me? Put that in your head from today. We've helped a lot of people from CrossFit who've hurt their low back pain, checks one box. The one below it has to be checked. Okay, you've helped a lot of people like me from CrossFit with low back pain. But are you the right fit for me? That's the second part, right? They got to believe in themselves in your system. That's key, right? They got to see these testimonials. Wow, that's just like me. Wow, they've helped a lot of other people. Cool. And you tell them that. Yes. Yeah, Michael, we've helped a lot of people who have hurt their backs at CrossFit, just like you. If you stop there, you had the fear, doubt, and uncertainty. The trust has clicked up a little bit. Now you got to make the next step up and keep building that incremental trust. And Michael, let me tell you how we can help you. And then you talk about the expert they're scheduled with. So you've got to get them to believe in themselves on this journey. So Michael, I've heard you say how important CrossFit is. And you can't go and you have this morning pain. I have the perfect expert for you here where we treat a lot of CrossFit people who've had low back pain. And this provider will be perfect for you. And let me tell you why. And then you tell them the three things I've given you before. The expert, the diagnosis, they'll give them their diagnosis, and how the big one, how they will give them a plan of care. They'll put them on the path. They'll give them the roadmap back to CrossFit and getting rid of that morning pain. It's gold, man. It's gold. It's fucking gold. It's fucking gold, Jerry. This is what you have to do, and it's so important. And I'm going to tell you that it's just going to go click, click. We've treated lots of people from CrossFit who have hurt their low back, just like you, Jerry. Cool, that's awesome. Will they arrive? Maybe. But why don't we check another box? And Jerry, let me tell you how we can help you get back to CrossFit. Check the bigger box. The next one. I shouldn't say the bigger box, it's just the next one. The trust journey is just a series of checking boxes. And the more you check, the more likely they will arrive, pay, stay, and do your marketing with you. So if you get to the end of it and you got 20 check boxes and you checked 18 of them, nice work. If you don't, if you get someone scheduled, you still have the 20 boxes. Cool, they're scheduled. Let me see the boxes, the trust boxes you checked for the journey. Oh, I checked 2 of them. Will they arrive? Yeah, sure, because I checked these 2. I'm gonna ask you about the other 18. So, if you want someone who will arrive, pay, stay, and do your marketing with you, understand the trust journey, understand phase 2 of your patient life cycle, understand that building trust is a journey and it's a world of marginal gains out there, and that you must make sure that they believe in you during the first phone call and that they believe in themselves within your practice with the outcomes you promise to deliver. And you can only get to that if you understand their story and what they want from you. This is why you must get their goals. Of every single secret caller I've made, 2 have asked me my goals. The rest scheduled me for my diagnosis. All right? We are good, my friends. It's 20 after. This is fucking 20 minutes of gold. Like I said, go back through the first 5 minutes, write all that out. Write it out visually so you can see it. Then go through the conversation again. Because I just told you exactly what to do to check a couple of the boxes on the trust journey. If you want to know how to do more of that, PM me. This is what my training's all about. I've gone through all the training in all these videos. I go back frequently and look at the titles of these Facebook videos. You can put all this stuff together if you want. You really can. But you got to sit through all the F-words and BC boys. Oh, but wait, that's just like my training program. So, I'm happy to help you and your team accelerate the fuck out of this thing and not have you go back and look through all my Facebook Lives. But in the meantime, scroll back through all my Facebook Lives and then reach out. I'm happy to help you and your team figure out this phase 2. What's really important to your team figuring out phase 2, this is Biz Marquis for you old school rock kids. The key to your team understanding the value of phase 2 is learning phase 1, phase 3, and phase 4. When I say learning, just understanding. They don't have to do it. But each team member has to understand their role within their phase, and then they have to see the bigger picture. That's the patient life cycle. So that's why you constantly see me referencing understanding the patient life cycle. Once you understand your patient's life cycle, then you can leverage the fuck out of phase 2. Then you can build the trust. Remember I told you, get your billing team involved. Ask your billing team, what are the complaints you're hearing? When people call you, when I transfer all those billing calls to you, what are people asking for? How can we solve some of those problems during phase 2? We got this time. They call, they're on the schedule. Now what? We got nothing but time here. By the way, quit offering people 24 and 48-hour visits if they don't want them, because you're fucking up the trust journey. There's a title for the next one. By the way, when you don't ask me when I want to get scheduled, and you say, well, we have something tomorrow, you're just wasting my time. It gets annoying. On the secret callers, I'm like, just ask me. I actually want to get scheduled for 2 weeks out. And then your team doesn't know what to do with me, because you told them get everybody on the schedule within 24 and 48 hours. Because why? Because you don't trust yourself and the process you set up, and you can't answer the question, why will they arrive? The clinics are getting everybody in 24 and 48 hours, and that's their policy, is they don't trust the process. They don't trust that someone will hang up and call elsewhere. So they try to get them on the schedule earlier. Think about that. Go ask them. Ask someone why they have a 24 to 48 hour policy. Because people want it, and I call bullshit, because you know I answered these. And when I started asking, you know the problem when you cram everybody in 24 and 48 hours? Then when you ask someone and they want tomorrow, there is no slot, because you cram someone in there who probably isn't going to show up anyway. And then you lost someone who would have shown up yesterday. It's not rocket science. All right, people. This is awesome. Thanks for bearing with me. This is good shit today. And I appreciate you hanging out and listening to my favorite Beastie Boys song.